This is a story on how Star Fox Zero made me lose my faith in Nintendo, but yeah, sure, in general, why not? So we were in the middle of the Wii U era, all right? It was E3 2014, and we just got out of 2013, which for like the first half of that year, there was like diddly squat dick. Nothing to play, no news, nothing going on. Then E3 2013 happened and more games started coming out. We ended the year with Super Mario 3D World. It was starting to feel a lot more fun to be a Wii U owner. There was actual stuff going on. But then 2014 hit, and this was like one of the most fun years to be a Nintendo fan, no doubt. I know that may sound strange right now during the Nintendo Switch generation where it feels like we're being showered with all these things to play. But 2014, that was a big year, specifically for the Wii U owners. Most of the defining games of that console either came out that year or were announced that year. We had Mario Kart 8, Smash Brothers for Wii U, Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta 2, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, all released that year. And then games like Mario Maker and Splatoon were announced, and this was all at E3 2014, one of Nintendo's best E3s in my opinion. That was when we first got a look at Breath of the Wild. We were reintroduced to Yoshi's Woolly World, we got Kirby and the Rainbow Curse announced, and they made the unbelievable decision to not show Mario Party 10 during the event. They revealed it like later. They just uploaded a trailer to the YouTube channel. I don't blame them. But it was just exciting, man. Like, this was like the first time as a Wii U owner, I genuinely felt like, wow, like this is awesome. I think Smash Brothers had a lot to do with that. Just the build up to release of that game is unlike anything else, you know? Like, in my opinion, Smash Brothers is almost like Christmas to me, where I almost feel like sometimes the build up to Christmas is a little more fun and memorable than Christmas itself. Christmas itself is awesome, but that build-up, man, you remember that. All the speculation and debate as to which characters are gonna get in. No, that one won't ever get in. Oh, well, this is my most favorite. This is my most wanted. And then, like, just kind of speculating on leaks and rumors and maybe looking too deep into certain screenshots or trailers. Like, it was so much fun. But you know what was really cool was at E3 2014, at the very end of the digital event, they teased a little something. They showed Shigeru Miyamoto playing just something. It was a blurred TV screen, and it was Star Fox. Holy shit, they're making a new Star Fox for the Wii U! That was like, oh my god. I mean, like, it felt like Nintendo was listening. You know, like, for years, we were all begging them to dig into their franchise graveyard and bring back certain things like Star Fox, F-Zero. And they were listening. They were actually bringing back Star Fox for the Wii U. That was so damn cool to see. Even though, like, I was never the biggest Star Fox guy, it's still, like, really heartwarming and exciting to see a company listen to their fan base like that and bring back franchises that they haven't touched for years. They may not be the craziest sellers, but you know what? Damn it, they care. Well, that announcement would have had a bit more impact if it wasn't leaked beforehand. I believe a lot of things happen this way where certain publications will get, like, a go-ahead as to, like, what certain companies will be announcing during these types of presentations, and you know, they'll get time with them beforehand so then they can write up their articles and everything, so then they can go live when they want it to. And I remember a publication accidentally published like images of Miyamoto playing Star Fox on Wii U on the E3 show floor, like right before the E3 event went live. Which that was pretty interesting to see, mainly because we weren't allowed to actually see Star Fox. This was like a behind closed doors demo, pretty much. Like Nintendo would show like an IGN employee Star Fox for Wii U, and then they come out and they say, well, that looked like shit. Very early development on this. And this was right alongside a couple other demos Nintendo had. Miyamoto was apparently in charge of kind of spearheading the gamepad revolution. 2 years after the Wii U came out. Yeah, in 2014, this was when Nintendo started an initiative where they created 3 tech demos that they hope to then, flesh out into full-fledged games that focused on using the Wii U gamepad. Might I remind you, 2 years after the system launched. Don't you think these games would have come in handy in 2012? So yeah, that was a little weird that was like a big deal for them, like that late into the game. I'm like, honey, like the console war is already over. You lost. Just accept it, just make good games, and then move on to the next thing. But no, in 2014, they wanted to show off the power of the Wii U gamepad, and Star Fox was the game spearheading that. And like I've already said, the game was very early in development, using incredibly rudimentary graphics. And the public, i.e. me, we were never able to see what this game actually looked like. The only thing we got was like blurry, faraway screenshots. And even then you could tell, like it almost looked like the original Star Fox from the SNES, just with like real-time polygons. Very flat, very basic. But it was meant to show, like, using the gamepad to aim your reticle while the ship is all on the TV. But they announced at that E3 that Star Fox, they were planning and hoping it would release that next year in 2015, and they were looking for a developer to make it. But man, in 2015 was looking to be like this insane year. They announced Zelda was coming out in 2015, Star Fox, Mario Maker, Splatoon. It was gonna be nuts. And then Zelda was delayed, and then Star Fox looked like shit. E3 2015. With Zelda getting delayed and them not really wanting to show much about that game, they kind of depended a lot on Star Fox to steal everybody's hearts. It did not. Pretty much started off their whole E3 2015 presentation. And yeah, the trailer wasn't like bad or anything. It was just really underwhelming. Graphically, it just didn't impress. I mean, it was like fine, but like Star Fox used to be about the visuals. Like Star Fox on Super Nintendo, that was about like, oh my god, this is incredible. Star Fox 64 really impressed. Star Fox Adventures and Assault on the GameCube really impressed. And then you have this game that just looked really flat and bland. The explosions looked really airy, like there wasn't much behind them. Like the terrain of the worlds just felt really, really outdated. But, that's not to say that the game didn't look fine. I thought it looked fine, and it had some cool things about it. The logo was kind of cool. The name Star Fox Zero, I mean, that's a pretty basic name, all things considered, using the subtitle Zero. I like it, but it's also kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's not that, it's not very clever, but hey, whatever. But something that was really cool was that they showed off a vehicle transformation, the Walker, and that was from Star Fox 2, which that was a Super Nintendo game that got canceled back in the day, and it was eventually leaked online, so everybody was able to play it, but Nintendo eventually did officially re-release it as a part of the Super Nintendo Classic Edition in 2017, and you can also play it on Nintendo Switch Online now, which is really cool. But that original idea, technically, first publicly was made available in Star Fox Zero. But yeah, I mean, like, it looked fine, but it didn't really leave a huge impression, which was really unfortunate because like it was like the main focus of their E3 presentation. And then the demo at E3 2015. I remember seeing a lot of people have like some crazy mixed emotions about it. Some people thought it was fine. Other people were like, these controls they don't work for me. Which was really weird because this game was kind of it was supposed to be designed around utilizing the Wii U gamepad to its fullest potential. And not only did it fail to do that, it failed in general as like a game in terms of its controls. But whatever. I think what most people kind of took away from this event was that afterwards Nintendo announced that Platinum Games was helping them develop it. I think Platinum Games could make an insane Star Fox game. The problem is, like, this, I don't really think this was, like, their Star Fox game at its core. I think this was Nintendo's Star Fox game at its core that they didn't want to finish themselves, so they just threw it at Platinum, and they just asked them, can you guys finish this? Which I remember, Hideki Kamiya of Platinum Games, he originally said something, somebody asked him, like, hey, what Nintendo franchise would you like to work on? And he said Star Fox. So it was kind of cool to see, like, a year or two later that, yeah, they were actually able to work on Star Fox. But this doesn't really feel like a Platinum Games game in terms of, like, action. You know, if Platinum Games develop a Star Fox game, like, from the ground up, I think that would be insane. But no, this just kind of feels like, I don't know, they were just picking up Nintendo's dirty laundry, you know? But whatever, they kept saying Star Fox is coming out in 2015. And in E3 2015, they announced, like, 3 holiday titles for the Wii U. This, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. All 3 of those titles had holiday 2015 as the release date. Boy, that would have been even more depressing if this made that date. Yes, we got a delay. This was originally supposed to be Nintendo's big holiday title, November 20th, 2015. And yep, they delayed it to the first quarter of 2016, which then I feel like got delayed again to like April of 2016, which I don't think is first quarter, but that was more of kind of like a quiet, soft delay, you know, like they just announced that and then they were like, yep, it's coming out in April. And yeah, every time they showed a trailer of this game, I'm not sure if it actually looked better every time. It might have, and it definitely probably did. But I feel like I was kind of lying to myself. I just really wanted it to look better, you know? I was just constantly just waiting for that aha moment with this game, you know? Just that feeling of like, oh man, that's why this is the way it is. Well, later down the line, they announced that one of the other 3 Wii U gamepad tech demos at E3 2014 was actually another part of the Star Fox Zero package, that being Star Fox Guard. This I always found really weird, so they released Star Fox Zero in this big box alongside Star Fox Guard, and yeah, it's in its own separate Wii U case. I feel like this was entirely marketing based. This wasn't really because, oh, well, this is how it had to be. I've said this before, but I think Star Fox Guard works a lot better as like a secondary menu option on Star Fox Zero rather than its own ass disc. This is kind of like a pick up and play for like 10 minutes kind of game. And for how lame Star Fox Zero is, I kind of would have really appreciated just being able to play this for a little bit, then hop over to Star Fox Guard, and then maybe go back to this. But it's whatever. I think it's kind of cool that they released it this way, even if it was entirely unnecessary to give this smaller game its own disc and case. But Star Fox Zero released in April of 2016, and this was already a bit of a rough time to be a Nintendo fan. You know, in the later half of 2015, you know, we got Amiibo Festival and Mario Tennis Ultra Smash that holiday, and that was pretty lame. That wasn't fun. That was a pretty bad that was a pretty bad time to be a Nintendo fan. In addition, like a couple weeks later, we got Devil's Third on Wii U. Oh boy. And then in 2016, yeah, like it just kind of felt like a lot of stuff that like it just wasn't really my thing, or it felt kind of like just padding. Twilight Princess HD got released, and I wasn't impressed with that at first. I felt like it was kind of like a lazier remaster in comparison to Wind Waker HD. Nowadays, I look back at it and I'm actually more impressed with that than Wind Waker HD, because Wind Waker HD, it kind of just feels like they just put Wind Waker in widescreen and added a ton of bloom. Twilight Princess, they actually had to go in and change and like fix up a lot about that game. Still looks like, you know, a remaster of a game from 2006, but you know, it's called Twilight Princess HD for a reason. I'm not trying to hide that. But at the time, it kind of felt like a filler release, and Pokken Tournament didn't do anything for me. And then we got Star Fox. And this was also around the time that Nintendo just was not saying anything about their next home console, the Nintendo NX. Nintendo 3DS was getting some pretty lame support, just nothing that great. And Star Fox Zero came out, and I played it. And this is when I I questioned my Nintendo fandom. I remember I kind of hopped over to the PS4 a lot more during this time. Played Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, had a great time with those. But this was when I was starting to kind of give up on Nintendo a little bit. Not really, but I was definitely kind of down in the dumps as a fan. This game I just found to be not good. It's not my thing. And the controls definitely don't help. The controls are not good in this game whatsoever. I know a lot of people got used to them, and a lot of people will defend them. But even the people that defend these controls, most of the time they will say it took them a while to get used to them. This game is incredibly short. You can plow through this game in just like 3 hours. So by the time you actually get used to the controls, the goddamn game is over. But taking the controls out of the equation, this is a lame-ass Star Fox game. It's the same damn Star Fox game we've played time and time again. It's a retelling of the original Star Fox, which was retold in Star Fox 64, which was retold in Star Fox 64 3D. This wasn't interesting. This wasn't a cool game. This didn't have these awesome graphics. This didn't have options for those who didn't really want to play it the stupid ass way they wanted you to play it. This didn't have a big bombastic orchestra. This was an incredibly slim release in almost every way. In many ways, I'd say Star Fox Guard was the better game, and even then, it's not anything great. This just did nothing for me, and I understand other people enjoying it. But I definitely just didn't get much from this release. And I'm serious when I'm saying, like, yeah, it made me kind of lose my faith in Nintendo for a bit there. 2016 was truly a dreadful year to be a Nintendo fan. I look back at that with a little bit of like a chuckle and kind of like, oh man, wasn't that a little wild? I think it kind of made us appreciate the smaller things. I remember listening to a lot of like Nintendo podcasts and YouTube channels at that time. And it was just kind of enjoyable to, kind of listen to other people kind of going through the same motions and just trying to make the most out of such little content we were getting. Just listening to discussions about like an Animal Crossing Amiibo New Leaf update. And, we were getting some other things in the form of like, hey, like Pokemon Go was a big deal. Super Mario Run was announced for mobile. We finally got Tokyo Mirage Sessions released. Paper Mario Color Splash was a big talking point. How, that was, ruining my entire year. And how Nintendo just refused to announce their damn system. With 2016 just being incredibly bleak, the time Star Fox Zero released was also around the time Nintendo confirmed they would not have a normal presence at E3 that year, and Zelda was delayed again, and they didn't give a time frame as to when they would announce their new console. All they said was, we'll announce it this year. So every single goddamn day, everybody was speculating, is today the day? It was nuts. And Star Fox Zero came out at a bad time for me. It really made me question my faith in Nintendo. But thankfully, about a month and a half later, when they finally revealed the Breath of the Wild E3 2016 trailer, that kind of pulled me back in. I was like, this is the Nintendo I love. Fortunately, we didn't get it here. One of my least favorite Nintendo games, not the lowest quality Nintendo game out there, but definitely probably one of the most disappointing ones. You take a franchise that everybody was begging to come back, and this is how it comes back. Not like a low quality game, but just a very mediocre one that just felt very misguided, one that felt like they didn't know what to do with Star Fox other than just, I don't know, try to make them work with the Wii U gamepad. And when this was pretty much all that was going on in the Nintendo circle at the time, hopefully you can tell why I was like, well, I don't know what to do as a fan anymore. Well, hindsight is 2020, because I know now what I should have done as a fan. Cry.